All right. The top 10, in my opinion, best club competitions from around the whole entire world. We're going to be looking at Super Rugby from the Americas. We're going to be looking at the Investec Champions Cup, the URC, Japan, NPC, etc., etc. So if I have missed any, let me know below. Like these videos if you do like them. And also subscribe. It's the best way to show support. And it's the best way for you to see my videos. If you like them or not, whatever it might be, leave your opinion below. And we'll be able to get back to each other and just talk about rugby. Because that's the main thing about this channel. It's just so we have somewhere where we can talk about rugby. So let's get into it. Top 10 from around the world, in my opinion. I've done a lot of research. This has taken me a long time. So hopefully you do enjoy it. Now, we'll start with some special mentions, all right? Special mention. So Major League Rugby, the USA, founded in 2018. It has 11 clubs at the moment. The most recent champions are the New England Free Jacks, who I believe has won it twice in a row. As you can see here, so during the 2023 season, on Fox, they broadcast it, and the average audience was 53 to 147,000. So I think that's quite a bit for the American market. You can also see average audience of 36,000. So the final was to 269,000 people. 10,000 people turned up, and that was in 2023. The 2024 final was less viewers on TV, 200,000, but it had 12,000 attending the actual game. So in 2024, they announced that there was 271,000 subscribers to the Rugby Network. So a 55% growth from the year before. And the average attendance is estimated to be, I think that is wrong. I don't think it's 2,300 to 3,000. I believe it'll be lower. It's probably around 1,000, in my honest opinion. But from what people say, I haven't been to a game, that sort of thing, so I can't really tell myself. So from the evidence, I think it's probably about 1,000 in my honest opinion. But yes, MLR, hopefully it grows, but it's looking like it's not growing. It's looking like it's going the other way, unfortunately. Another special mention is the Varsity Cup from South Africa. So this is the University Varsity Cup. There's quite a bit of info in it. I put a link in there. But they say the average is between 2,000 to 15,000. It depends which place you're playing at, which university you're playing at. It was founded in 2008. There's 8 teams in it. And the most recent champion is the University of Free State, the Shimlas from the Vrystaat. And there's also promotion and relegation as well. Another one is, special mention, is the Georgia DD10. So that's the sponsor. So there's 10 clubs. It has a relegation and promotion, etc. The current champions are the, excuse the pronunciation, Kutaisi. The competition was founded in 1990. Black Lion even got 17,000 fans earlier this year to a Challenge Cup match against Castries, I believe. Castre, I'm not sure how to say it. The average attendance seems to be between 2,000 to 5,000 people. That's just counting in the Challenge Cup, all that type of stuff, and the finals as well. So that's a special mention. The last special mention is the French Division 2. It has 16 teams, 30 rounds, founded in 2000. The most recent champs are Vannes, who's obviously in the top division now. The average attendance is 5,400, which is up 7% from last year, which is great. So one team automatically gets promoted, who's the winner of the playoffs, and then another one, the second place one, plays against the bottom of Division 1. So top and bottom, they play each other. Whoever wins stays up or goes up as well. And then same again with the relegation to Division 3 and the promotion from Division 3. Now, one more mention, sorry, the Copa Iberica, the rugby. So this is where the top club team from Spain plays pretty much against the top team from Portugal. It was founded in 1965. The current champions is VRAC Quesos Entrepinares from Spain. So the final draws about 5,000 to 10,000 people. So people do get behind it. And the crowds are seen at actual Spain. I can see why. Special mention, Shoot Shield here in Australia. Sometimes the finals get between 10 to 15,000. The average is about 1,000 fans. Their club room is actually very nice. They have some pretty flash things in there. So the clubs are definitely doing well money-wise, but it's just constantly getting those people to come. So it was founded in 1874, And the most recent champions are Eastern Suburbs, who won it for the first time. And there's 12 club teams in this competition. So this is based in New South Wales. Now let's start. Top 10. Number 10, we have the NPC from New Zealand, the National Provincial Competition. As you can see, there's a picture here on the top right from the final. You can see not a great turnout, right? This is in Wellington at the Cake Tin. And obviously it's crap weather. So everyone's up the top. They're trying to stay away from the rain. But you can see just most of the stadium's empty. So pretty crappy turnout. So the competition was founded in 1975. 14 teams are in the top division, which I think they're talking about making it less. The average attendance was 2,000 paying fans. But apparently they give about 25% free tickets away. So about 500 tickets, give or take, per game. So about 2,500 people would be at every game, sort of thing. Because some stadiums are very small, like Southland, etc., etc. So there's obviously not the greatest turnouts in those places. Maybe Manawatu as well, the Turbos. Now, the final attendance, there was no record on it because obviously it's not a great turnout. So they're trying to hide the numbers, I guess. But I'm guessing around about 10,000 maximum, because I think there's a lot of people probably standing as well. So 10,000, we're being quite friendly there as well. But the overall attendance this year was up from the previous year as well. So hopefully it keeps building. Hopefully my boys can do it. But, you can't hope for too much. But as long as these competitions keep growing, rugby's the winner at the end of the day. So number 9. A lot of people might not have heard about this before. So it's the Super Rugby Americas. It was founded in 2020. So there's now 8 teams. It's actually gone up 1 team. It used to be 7. So there's going to be 3 from Argentina, 1 from Brazil, 1 from Chile, 1 from Paraguay, 1 from the USA, and 1 from Uruguay as well. The 2024 champs was the Dogos 15, which is from Argentina, and I believe it's their first win. So as you can see here, there's a picture here which I screenshotted from the final. You can see, so that stand was, sold out. Then all around the field, there's about, 3 or 4 rows deep of people. And there's another stand on the other side as well. So I'm guessing, between 10 to 20,000 people from looking at the evidence, looking at the highlights of the game. But it's great to see that rugby's growing in these other countries as well. I'm hoping Brazil grows. I'm hoping Chile. I'm hoping Paraguay, USA, Uruguay, all these countries. Imagine if their Super Rugby comp becomes as good as the old Super Rugby comp or even the Pacific comp. Just the level of play. It'll really drag. And that's why Contempomi, the coach from Argentina, he's really pushing this competition. So hopefully they have something good there. Now, the final was broadcast on ESPN. So obviously they're getting good viewers from all around the Americas. Now, educated guess would be 1,000 to 2,000 people at average at every game. Especially in Argentina, it'll be higher. Brazil, Chile, Paraguay, I guess it'll be lower. And the final looked between 5 to 10K people. Okay, so for me, that's a win. Super Rugby Americas, check it out if you haven't before. The highlights are on YouTube, so definitely check it out if you can. Now, number 8, we got the ever faithful Curry Cup. The Curry Cup is from South Africa. It's the domestic competition there. It, went for a very rough period. It used to be in the 90s, the early 2000s, man, people used to go flat. I mean, average attendances were like 30,000 or more. It really went down big time in the last 10 to 12 years. I guess, obviously crime's gone up. And the teams like the Lions are getting less and less people because where Ellis Park is, it's not in a very easy place for people to get to safely and not. So not a lot of people go into these games, unfortunately, even though they used to be one of the most watched. If they probably made a stadium in a smaller stadium, maybe in a better place, then you'll start to see people coming back. Now, there's 8 teams in the top division. The current champions are the Natal Sharks, who won their 9th championship. They beat my Lions in extra time. So last play of the game, the Lions have a line out. They take the line out, they make them all. Now, instead of just kicking the ball out, they lose the ball, they give up a penalty, and Jaden Hendricks, who just played for the Box at number 10, slots a 60-meter penalty. But it is at altitude, but he still slots it in the rain, windy, to win the championship. So, and he just left the Lions as well to go to there. So Be horrible. But yeah, the average attendance is estimated to be between 2 to 7,000 people. So a 23% year-on-year growth for the average unique audience, 37% rise in the average live audience numbers. Looks like the Curry Cup may have made a comeback from where it used to be 20 to 30K and over 50K for the finals. It also shows the Nielsen data a 28% growth in total unique live audience, but no numbers were actually given. So hopefully this is a thing for the future. Number 8, Curry Cup for me. Now, number 7, the Challenge Cup, the European Rugby Challenge Cup. It was founded in 1996. So this is kind of like, if you watch football, it is like the Europa League. So pretty much, it's not the Champions Cup where all the top teams go and play for the European Cup. These are pretty much the next best teams who didn't qualify for that. They qualify for this. So 18 teams qualify. So 8 qualify from the URC, 4 from England, and 4 from France. And then 2 other teams are invited. So teams from like Georgia, etc., etc. The current champions are the Sharks. They won it for the first time. They won the first European Cup for any South African team ever. The final was in attendance of 34,761 people, where the year before was 31,000. So 3,000 people increase. The average attendance was 7,540 per game during all group play, etc. Up from a 6,100. So about 1,400% increase, which is pretty good. And the lowest attendance was Zebre versus the Cheetahs, 1,600, and that was in Italy. Zebre, I mean, they only average at like 2,000 people per game. So I don't know how they're making money, but anyway, hopefully they can get more people there, even though their stadiums only hold about 5,000. So as we can see, there's a climb in the TV numbers and also have an increase in people watching live as well. And I'm hoping the SA public, with the Sharks winning, hopefully they pay more attention now to the Challenge Cup. And then hopefully it builds, I guess, rivalries and people will watch it more, because the South African market is a very, very big one, because it's such a big population and they are very much rugby mad at the moment, as we all know. Now, number 6. This could have gone either way, but number 6, the Japan Rugby League 1. Now, on the bottom right here, you can see where the teams are actually situated. So a lot of them are based in Tokyo. You also see Toyota, Kobe, Osaka, Shizuoka, Yokohama. Nothing really up north and nothing really too south there. So hopefully it spreads more as well, just outside of Tokyo. Now, founded, it was in 2003, the first season. 12 teams play in the top division, relegation and promotion for 1 team each season. The current champions are the Brave Lupus from Tokyo. It was their first championship ever. The final had 42,000 people turn up. The average attendance is 9,174, which is up 50%. There was only about 6,000 something the year before. So big jump. I'm hoping it jumps again, because they're just going to keep climbing up the ranks for the best competition in the world. And I'm hoping it really does. So the highest attendance was Saitama versus the champions Brave Lupus, which was just a normal season game on the 26th of May, 2024. 56,000 people. That's crazy. So Tokyo is averaging around 14,000 people a match. And then obviously the smaller teams are not averaging much at all. So it's dragging that average down. And the best thing about this competition to me is that some of the world's best players play there. I mean, Bowden Barrett, Artie Sevilla did. You look at, what's his name, Richie Mo'unga. Even one of my friends, Michael Little, he plays over there for Kobe as well, and the Steelers. Nani Laumape. I mean, there's a lot of good rugby players that play there. And I keep up to date with all the games there, because it's just such an interesting concept to me that these private clubs can have these players come and play for them. And even my coach now, let me know if you people know who he is. His name is Pierre Holla. So he used to play number 10 for Tonga in the 2007 World Cup, 2003 World Cup. Let me know if you know who he is, because he's actually one of my coaches at my local rugby club. And, we always chat about it because he used to play for Kobe. So it's always good to chat with him and kind of hear those stories about how much they love the rugby over there. Now, at number 5. Oh, sorry, here's the average attendance here in Japan. So 14,000, you can see that Tokyo SG, Toyota, 12,000, nearly 13. Kobe's 10,000, Yokohama. But then, so those are Division 3, Division 2 teams. You can see Mia, 4,200, Sagahimara, 5,500. So, some teams are just dragging that average down. Now, Super Rugby Pacific is number 5 for me. The old Super Rugby would probably be much higher, but it was founded in 1996. There's 11 teams now, so 4 from Australia, 5 from New Zealand, 1 from the Pacific Islands, which is a mixed team between Samoa and Tonga. And then you also got a team from Fiji, the Drua. The current champions are the Blues, which is their 4th championship. So the final had 44,000 people there. And in 2023, it was 25,000, but obviously it was in Christchurch. It was sold out stadium there. Now, the average attendance, there's no broad number. I had to work it out kind of myself by finding data from New Zealand, from Australia, etc. So I'm guessing it's between 12 to 13,000. Could even be the higher end of 13,000, so 30,900-ish. So it's 1,000 up from the year before. So in Australia, the average is 10,557. Queensland, so the Reds had 14,500 average. New South Wales, 12,600. Then the Brumbies only had 8,000. Western Australian, only 6,200. And I think the Rebels, even though they know more, they had about, I think, 8,000 or 9,000 per game. Now, New Zealand, we're averaging a bit higher here, obviously. 14,300. That's nearing the French rugby numbers here. So that's really, really good numbers. So, yeah, unfortunately, Australia, Fiji, the islands, they're not helping out. Even though Queensland is, with a very good one, New South Wales as well. It's the Brumbies in Western Australia with the Force who are letting them down. Dunedin, 12,500. Canterbury, 12.7. Waikato, 14.2. Wellington, 13.8. And then Auckland is sitting around like 18 to 20,000. There's no exact data on every game, but some games had like 20-something thousand. Some had like 15. And then you also played in Northland, which was 12. But everything seemed to be around that 18 to 20, 22, 23. So really, really good numbers. I'm hoping it keeps growing in New Zealand. Hopefully it grows actually because it's not in that much of a growth, but Auckland seems to be going really well, especially when they're winning, right? Everyone's going to watch. So Super Rugby is number 5. So where do we go from here, right? The URC, United Rugby Championship, was founded in 2001. This is the one I watch. All right, because obviously I'm from South Africa. I'm a Lions supporter, even though it's so dreadful at the moment because it seems like no one goes and watches, no one, but we all follow the Lions, from overseas, wherever it might be. The old West Transvaal, such good memories, such a good team back in the day. They used to challenge the All Blacks, all these people. Now, founded in 2001, the new format with the current 4 South African teams is from 2021. So there's 16 teams in total. There's 4 from Ireland, 4 from South Africa, 2 from Scotland, 2 from Italy, and 4 from Wales, which obviously the Welsh people are not too happy with. They're trying to cut that down. And I think they could. They should probably cut it down to only 2-3 teams max, in my opinion, until obviously they build a bit of depth. But each of those teams is privately owned. So hopefully they can work it out. So the top 8 go to the European Championship, and then the bottom 8 go to the Challenge Cup. So at least no one misses out, sort of thing. The current champions are the Glasgow Warriors. They beat the Bulls in South Africa in the final, upset them, and that is their 2nd championship ever. The final attendance was 52,000 people at Loftus. The average attendance per game was 11,200, so 400 up from the year before. The TV, so this is interesting especially for South African viewers and all that. The overseas audiences have grown by 138%. So people watching from overseas different games. So not just following the Irish games, not just following Scottish games, etc. So it's up to 6.2 million. The TV deal is $70 million a year, but it ends this year after this season. So it's obviously going to be much bigger. It's definitely going to be bigger purely because the numbers are up. There's more supporters watching, and there's more people watching online, wherever it might be. So see that number increasing. It's going to be over the Super Rugby. I'm thinking it's going to be hopefully near 100 mil a season, right? Now, Leinster averaged at 26,000 per game. Stormers were next highest at 22,000, but the lowest was Zebra at 2,200. And that's the reason why there's such a deficiency, because there's so many clubs that have, 13 to 20,000 average viewers, but then you got Zebra, you got some Welsh teams, which is like 4,000. So, and then there's the Benetton as well, the other Italian team. Their stadium only holds 5,000, and they always get about 4,000 or so. So they're nearly full stadium, but it's dragging those average numbers down, right? So that's my number 4. As you can see here in the bottom, there's the map as well. If you don't know where the teams are from, there's Glasgow, Ulster, Connacht, Munster, Leinster from Dublin. Then you got the 4 Welsh teams. You got Edinburgh and Glasgow. In South Africa, you can see very spread out. You got the West, so you got the Stormers on the West Cape. You got the Lions and the Bulls close to each other, and then you got the Sharks on the Southern Coast. And in Italy, I wish they would have a team maybe from Rome or somewhere around there, where I believe they'll get much bigger crowds, just purely being from a bigger population as well. But anyway, hopefully they can build on that, because bring back the old Italian teams, in my opinion. Now, number 3. All right, here's the average attendance, as you can see. So this is the English and the URC numbers. So Leinster is at the top, Stormers second, Leicester, Harlequins, Bristol next. The Bulls at 17, Munster at 15, Sharks at 14, Saracens, Bath, Northampton, Ulster. And then you got, the Scottish teams and the Welsh teams kind of dragging down, and the Lions. So no over 10,000 at all for any of the Scottish or Welsh teams or Italian teams. So you can see why that average is dragged down quite a lot. You can also see Newcastle, obviously they're not doing very well, so that's why not many people are watching, but still 5,200. Sale as well. So end of the day, you can see those numbers there. Leinster way in front, next to the Stormers. Now, obviously, this gives it up as well. You can see this is annually, right? So the top 14's TV deal, it's actually, they give 11.6 million to the Division 2. So in reality, it's only about 139-ish million, right? For the top 14, but that's if they didn't give the money to Division 2. But 150 mil, right? Even without that, it's $139 million a year, which is crazy. The Super Rugby has $81 million a year. Obviously less teams though, so only 11 teams in the Super Rugby. So it's spread out a bit more evenly. Then you got the URC, which is more teams, but only 70 million. But like I said, that deal is ending. Same with the Super Rugby. The deal is ending in 2025. Then you got the Premiership Rugby, which is 42 million a year for only 10 teams, but it's not a lot of money comparing it to the other ones. And then you got the Pro Division 2 there. So it's interesting there. There's the money for you, the annual value of the domestic club rugby union broadcast deals. Now we'll move on to the next one. So we've got the Premiership Rugby at number 3. So founded in 1987, 10 teams with a promotion and relegation. The current champions are Northampton Saints with their second championship. The final attendance were 81,669. The average attendance was 15,358, which is insane. I mean, it's up 2,000 from the year before, which was 13,300. Leicester averaged nearly 21,000. Newcastle with 5,200. The TV deal, like I said, is 42.9 mil per year for 2 seasons. And 3 clubs have been dropped, suspended, because they didn't have money. Right? So big money problems. You go, excuse me if I say it wrong, Worcestershire, I can't even pronounce it. Then you got the Wasps, and then you got the London Irish. All 3 of them went into administration, which is horrible to see. We don't want to see that. The more rugby teams, the better, in my opinion. But here you can see on the map where the teams are from. So you got, Harlequins, Saracens, Northampton, Exeter all the way out west. Then up the top, you got Newcastle, Leicester, etc. So I always find it interesting to see these maps just to kind of see where these teams are from. Now, number 2, you got the French top 14. Founded in 1892, 14 teams with a relegation and promotion games. So like I said, the bottom team plays off against, so the second bottom team plays off against the second team from the second division, and the bottom team is automatically relegated. Now, the final attendance was 66,000, sold out in Marseille. The average attendance was 5,252, a little bit less than in England, but also up from last year, 14,800. The reason why they're second as well, the rugby is better. The clubs are better, in my opinion, the top ones. And then you can also see the money, you know, the situation they're in. They're going great. The rugby in France is going great. And with a lot of the French viewers, I agree with you. I see why you say the club game to you is, you know, the top level. I guess for me, it'll always stay the international game, right? For me, my dream would be to play for my country, not to play for my club, just in my opinion. But with numbers like this, I can see why, right? The TV deal, 151.2 mil, 139.5 without the Division 2, which ends in 2032. So they're pretty well set for like 8 years. The French rugby is looking better than ever. Attendances are up, the product's selling. It's getting better and better for supporters. Bordeaux had 27,000 per game, which is freaking crazy. That's insane. The lowest was Oyonnax at 9,100, which is still not bad, right? For like a bad performing team, you're still getting nearly 10,000 people coming out in the cold in France. That's commitment. That's commitment. And then obviously number 1 has to be the Champions Cup. It was founded in 1995. 24 teams qualify, so 8 from England, 8 from France, 8 from the URC. The current champions are Toulouse. They won it for the 6th time. The final attendance was at Spurs, so the stadium's not very big. It could have been more if the stadium was bigger. 61,531. The average attendance was 18,419. So it's up from the year before, which was 16,300. So up by 2,100. That's pretty good. The highest attendance was, I think in the semi-final, it was Leinster versus Northampton. 82,300 people at Aviva. And there's a new deal, which next 3-year one for Premier Sports. They're the new TV deal. So I guess you can, you know, subscribe to it online. I think you pay like £8 or something like that to get the games. And the top average attendance was Leinster with like 28,000, which is just crazy to me. But it just shows that the Champions Cup is in such a strong spot. Money-wise, the French are catching up like crazy. But I guess, you know, you look at the same with the European competition for football. You know, the players want to play in the Champions Cup. They want to play against the best teams from Europe. They don't just want to play against the local comp all the time. They want to play against all the other competitions as well and see if they are better than them. Testing themselves against the best of African, best Irish, best Scottish, best English teams. And that's why I think Champions Cup to me is such a great product. And I just feel it's going to grow and grow and grow, unless if they make dumb decisions at the top. But I don't see it happening anytime soon. But let me know what you think about the list. So we've got Champions Cup number 1. We've got French top 14 number 2. Premiership at number 3. United Rugby Championship, URC at 4. Super Rugby at 5. Japan Rugby League 1, which I think is growing really quick. So that can be 5 or 4 next time. You never know. The Challenge Cup at 7. The Currie Cup at 8. Super Rugby Americas at 9. And the NPC at number 10. So let me know what you would change if there's another league that I've missed. I know in Sri Lanka, the leagues are growing. Even Malaysia, there's leagues. Pakistan have a league. I mean, there's leagues all over the world right now. And it just seems like it's getting bigger. I mean, even the college in America is getting bigger and bigger as well. So let's say, hopefully, we can make a list again in the near future and we'll actually change up these numbers and we can see how different it is from the stats that we have here compared to the future stats. But if you did enjoy the video, please like the video, subscribe as well if you want to see future videos, and I'll see you in the next one.